Recording has begun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is 110 days since my brother's been kidnapped by the state, the local authority, and I have no idea where he is. And I'm continuing to make daily logs. Today is Sunday, the 26th of November 2023, and I believe the time is coming to be around about 8:15. Yes, I'm despairing of what they're going to do to my brother, as they have done to my mother, and what they've done to my older brother Nazim in 2014 and my father in 2009. This is quite clearly a coordinated effort and a joint enterprise by all the professionals involved, not just only the local authority, who are the greatest benefactors of this fraud and deception, as they are the ones that are getting the most money out of central government for looking after elderly and the disabled. But this is a scam that they're running in collusion with the other authorities, West Yorkshire Police, the health authorities, the courts and tribunal services, the judges and the judiciaries. It's one big scam that they're running, and there's very little I can do about it other than make my own independent investigations and recordings and gather my own independent evidence, because these people all collude and conspire in order to defraud the civilians, the members of the public, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nowhere I can go. Do you think that, you can go to the journalists? Do you think I've not gone to any journalists? Do you think I've not got any newspapers? Do you think these people are not in control of the mainstream media? All right, this is some sort of like international scam that they're pulling against the elderly and the disabled. I mean, it's just they're doing the same thing in America. I mean, from my research, it's called guardianship fraud there, guardianships, where somebody can enter into a guardianship arrangements. Basically, somebody can take control of your finances. I think the famous case in America is the Britney Spears case, where her father's become a guardian and taken guardianship control of her finances, and she's had difficulty being enslaved and controlled by another person. However, in our case, the local authority is looking to take guardianship control of not only my siblings, my parents, but effectively trying to control me after taking away all my money and taking away all the family trust fund. Basically, stealing over £750,000 from our family, and then looking to take control of the situation. And it's just deja vu over and over again of what's been happening in the past. They keep on doing the same thing. They keep on getting caught out. They keep on then just giving me the silent treatment until they attack again and do something else nefarious. Now they've taken my brother for 110 days. They're holding him detained against his will, holding him hostage, because they know the fact that I've got all the evidence I need to show the world that they are committing mass murder against the civilian population that they're meant to be serving. There's I'm the only one that's highlighting this, because most people don't have the patience. Who can afford to give 20 years of their life away to something? I wouldn't give up my 20 years. I wouldn't care. I would just leave the country, wouldn't I? I would just leave the place. Have a happier life for myself. The reason I couldn't leave is because the disabled people were here and they needed the services, so we couldn't leave. And for 20 years I've been sat in this prison and seeing it all, and witnessing firsthand how the system truly operates, and how the lies and deceptions are created in order to put forward a facade, in order to get the public to believe that nobody else can look after the elderly, nobody else can look after the disabled. They're basically creating a need for themselves in order to justify the exorbitant amount of money that they can steal from the public purse. They're doing it on a collective basis, on a grand scale, and we're not talking about hundreds of pounds of fraud here, or thousands of pounds of fraud, or tens of thousands of pounds of fraud, or hundreds of thousands of pounds of fraud. We're not even talking about millions of pounds of fraud, or tens of millions of pounds of fraud. We're not even talking about hundreds of millions of pounds of fraud. We're talking about to the tune of billions, several billion pounds, tens of billions of pounds that they've been extorting out of the public purse in order to state that they are providing services for the weak and the elderly, using the weak and the elderly in order to gather their data, in order to say that they're doing something, when the reality is all they're looking to really do is take take charge of the situation so they can be in control of the money and the finances and drive people to a complete abject misery. I mean, Bradford Council has already been, I mean, partly it's been exposed through the child services that they were providing and the abysmal state of affairs that they had in the social services in childcare when the government has just stepped in and said that no, we need to now take this right away from you and give it to an independent trust, which is just farcical. De facto, the Bradford Council is still in charge of the children's services, even though not legally. So the de facto, the de jure setup on paper, it seems as an independent trust that is directly accountable to the central government, but is being funded by Bradford Council, and all Bradford Council's employees work at this new trust. It's just a facade. It's just a lie. It's just a deception. They've been scamming the system fully, and as much as they may scam the system for elderly and the disabled, they need to keep them alive, because that way they can continue to milk them and exploit them for benefits that they're entitled to. But more importantly, they've been doing this doing it for children, because they've been taking children away from families and parents, and through the fostering system, they've made a killing out of that. That's another way of them making money. I was just reading in the newspaper today that the local authority, Bradford Council, have made over £10 million from this cleaner air scheme. So you see how they utilize something like a benevolent aspect, like, oh, we need cleaner air zones. They've already made £10 million from fining the public for going into like this clean air zone thing. This is just simply another a cash cow for them. £10 million at a time when they're desperate for money. This is just another way for them to make money, isn't it? So this is what the local authority are doing. They're effectively cannibalizing the very civilian population that they are meant to be looking after in order for them to survive themselves, in order for them to continue to hold that position of authority and be an emblem of leadership, and be an emblem of civility as being part of the state. But the reality is that they are turning against the very civilians that they're meant to be looking after and looking to cover everything up. And eventually people just, if you're just an average person, you just want to get up, go to work, make some money, come home, be with your family. Yes, that's what everybody wants to do, isn't it? They just want to live peacefully without looking to antagonize anybody. They can go and work. Most people, we can go work. If we got doing a job that we enjoy doing, and we're getting paid a good wage, and our we're given security and our rights are protected, then why would we not go to work and have that security of work, and security of accommodation, and security in our lives? Our children are being schooled properly. They're being fed. The system works. If we have any problems, we can go to the hospitals and stuff. So as far as the average populace is concerned, the average civilian is concerned, they have a system in place, and they want to just abide by that system so they can just live in peace and harmony in the world. But the reality is that these people, the local authority, they are predators. They're preying on the exploitation of your labor. So they tax you to the hill, and then if you've got any savings, they're trying to target those savings by saying that you've done this wrong, you've broken these laws. How can they raise £10 million in a year from the clean air energy initiative? That's effectively paying for themselves, aren't they? That's anything that they put in place, that's paid for it themselves. £10 million of fining the public. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? And so in a similar vein, this is what they've been doing to my family. They've been targeting us, exploiting us, and now it's 110 days later. Why are they not giving me a simple answer of what legal framework that they've taken? It just seems to be like a groundhog day I'm living in. I'm living in the same day for the last 20 years, just simply the same day, speaking to them, trying to engage with them. What provisions have you put in place to deal with the elderly, specifically Asian elderlies or Asian minorities? They've got nothing in place. They can't even look after the children, never mind looking after the elderly. All they can do is lie, cheat and manipulate, and give contrivances, and then just buy everybody off. They sabotage everything. Everything that you try to do, they try to sabotage it because they want to have authority. It conflicts with their bottom line. It's all about them. They all care about themselves. Everybody else is a fraudulent criminal rat. and that needs to be dealt with, such as myself. When I'm looking to highlight, look, why have you taken my brother for? It's been 110 days now. Why are you not telling me where he is? Basically, no, we're not going to tell you. We're waiting for you to tumble and fall. We've sabotaged you. We've destabilized you. We're trying to manipulate the situation to our advantage, and then we're going to come in as the heroes with our lies and deceptions, feed the lies to the judges. And like I said, the most villainous aspect of this criminality is the fact that everybody believes that the judges are impartial and are immune from corruption, and that's just a falsehood and a lie and a deception, isn't it? The judges up and down the country, particularly in Bradford, are being bought, particularly in Bradford, Leeds, West Yorkshire, or on the northeastern circuit, are being bought off by the local authority. Even the judges, even the justices in London, in my mother's case, were being bought off by the local authority. It's all fraud and corruption, and here I am, screaming out, but nobody can hear me. Nobody's listening because nobody really cares. Everybody's blinded to the fact that if we rather maintain the status quo than change anything, because the change is too difficult. It's the better the devil that you know. So they're quite happy to, as long as the governments leave them alone, as long as the social workers leave them alone, as long as they're not the one that's being picked upon. But sooner or later, you're all going to get picked upon. You're all living in a life of misery. Look at these 10 million people, 10 million pounds that have been collected. That's all people's distress that they cause. The governments are there to cause you distress, harm, alarm and distress, so they can make money out of you. And it's all about authority and control you and demoralize you, as they're demoralizing me and humiliating me. So it just, every day is the same. Today is the Sunday, the 26th of November 2023. I'm still surviving. I'm not suicidal. I won't kill myself. I'll never kill myself. It's against my religion. And if anything harm comes to me, is as a direct result of the local authority plotting or planning something. So this week they're going to be obviously let me know what they've planned, because obviously time's running out, and they continue to plan and look to destabilize me. Now I need to know where my brother is. 110 days later, I'm freaking out. I can't just imagine what kind of condition they're keeping him under. No doubt he's going to die. He's going to die within a very short period of time. He's probably going in and out of hospitals right now, because that's what happens without my ability to care for him. They cannot care for him. They do not have the provision and the means to do so, but they were insisting because they don't want to pay me what I'm due, and that's just them trying to come out, run a cheap deal. But anyway, I digress. I think that's enough for today. Allah Hafiz, and we'll see how things go. Goodbye.